Right now at 5, a Joplin neighborhood locked down and safely when bomb disposal experts neutralize a device.
And we've got a pretty chilly start out there for us on our Tuesday, but temperatures warming up this afternoon. Got to look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, prosecutors file serious charges against a Pittsburgh man for sexually assaulting a juvenile.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, August the 26th, and it's a little bit on the chilly side this morning.
Yes, it certainly was.
Feels a little more like September 26th, not so much August 26th out there. Not that that's a bad thing after all the heat we've dealt with. This is a nice little break. Let's start with that live look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good so far. Again, skies got a few clouds here and there, but not much to complain about. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also looking good as we get this Tuesday underway. Do have some patchy fog though in our northern counties that we've got to contend with. So Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, Chanute, Yates Center. Just keep that in mind if you're traveling, especially on 54 this morning. You want to make sure that you're prepared. Use your low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. And of course, as always, be prepared for rapidly changing visibilities as well. Because remember, fog tracker is only showing you certain points along the way. There could be other areas where the visibility drops a bit more than what you're seeing. So do be cautious out there this morning. After that fog clears out, not much to talk about for our Tuesday. Got a pretty decent day. We've got partly cloudy skies. It's going to be a bit warmer today than where we were yesterday, but still 8 to 10 degrees below average. And we will be dry, but that will begin to change as we head into our Wednesday and Thursday. Look at these temperatures. 57 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. I mean, it is those blues that were off to our north and east yesterday, shifting a little further south and west. Look at Fort Scott sitting at 51 degrees as the cool spot. I think head south, a little bit warmer. Jay, Bentonville, both up there, along with Miami at 62. And in between, we've got low, mid, and upper 50s. So again, still not a bad start today. Average low is about 69. Nowhere near that this morning. Not a bad start. All right, let's get on to that bus stop forecast for you. Out the door about mid-50s. Partly cloudy skies. We'll go right around mid-70s for lunchtime and recess time. Great day to get outside. And even when the bus brings them home, still not bad. 80 degrees, some partly cloudy skies. And that's about where our highs are headed. Upper 70s, some low 80s. Partly cloudy. We'll be in the mid-60s by 9, mid-70s by noon with an east breeze at 5 to 10. An absolutely beautiful day for us here in the 4 states. As I mentioned, though, our rain chances still set to start increasing Wednesday into Thursday. Heavy rain is possible as well. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, the Springfield Fire Department bomb squad responded to Joplin last night after cleaners discovered a suspicious device at a recently vacated home. Police blocked East 25th Street between Ozark and Mississippi Avenues in the Rosedale neighborhood around 7:45 p.m. The new homeowner had hired cleaners who found the device and immediately contacted authorities. Neighbors were asked to stay inside their homes while the bomb squad traveled from Springfield to handle the situation. Now, when bomb disposal technicians render a device inert, they use specialized techniques to disable it without causing an explosion, protecting the public and preserving evidence for investigation. The bomb squad successfully rendered the device inert around 10:20 p.m. with no injuries reported. And a Pittsburgh man faces multiple felony charges after police say he sexually assaulted a minor at a local hotel over the weekend. Prosecutors charged 50-year-old Damian Yarbrough with rape, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated criminal sodomy. Pittsburgh police responded to the America's Best Value Inn on North Broadway Street Saturday evening after receiving a report of a sexual assault. Officers found Yarbrough with his luggage trying to leave the hotel and detained him. Detectives searching Yarbrough's hotel room and say they found suspected evidence. The victim was referred to local medical providers for treatment. Yarbrough remains in the Crawford County Jail on a $500,000 bond. The past and the future of Route 66 took shape in Galena yesterday. Crews lowered the official Centennial Arch into place over Route 66. The event, certified by the Route 66 Association, comes ahead of 100-year celebration of the historic byway. From concept to completion, the bridge found its home in a little over 10 years.
So the concept's been going on since 2011. Construction began in June of this year. And so not bad, June, July, and here we are in August, and it's up in the air. We flew it this morning.
Now, in the coming months, Galena visitors can expect a dedication ceremony once signs and lights are set on the structure. Well, beginning the week of September 1st, Newton County drivers may need to find a new route. You can expect lane closures and delays on the north side of routes 60 and HH east of Neosho. Construction of a new roundabout will begin and is expected to last for up to 60 days. Route HH traffic approaching Route 60 from the north will have no access to Route 60 while the intersection is closed. Drivers traveling east or westbound on Route 60 will not be affected, but will have no access to Route HH north of the intersection. Drivers are urged to find alternate routes. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. High-strength cannabis products pose mental health risks. According to research, a University of Colorado study connects strong THC to psychosis and addiction. Plus, President Trump takes an unprecedented action against a Federal Reserve governor in a move her attorney calls illegal. And cloudy conditions today. Chris will take another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 5:06. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch breaking overnight, President Trump says he's removed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook from the Fed's Board of Governors. On social media, the president accused Cook of committing mortgage fraud, though Cook is vowing to fight back. Leaders in Chicago, Illinois are also hitting back over President Trump's threat to send in the National Guard there. The president yesterday called the Windy City a, quote, killing field. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
I'll fire her if she doesn't resign.
In an unprecedented move last night, President Trump said he's firing Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook, accusing her in a letter of lying on mortgage applications. The Trump administration also cited the allegations in a criminal referral to the Justice Department. Cook was appointed by former President Joe Biden and confirmed in 2022 as the first black woman to serve as a Fed governor, a critical position overseeing the nation's monetary policy that's supposed to be independent from the administration. In a statement to Politico, her attorney fired back, calling the president's action illegal and vowing to challenge it.
We're keeping the rates high, and it's hurting people.
The move comes as President Trump has been publicly pushing the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, and it could test the central bank's independence, with presidents allowed to remove Fed governors only for cause.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
Meanwhile, the war of words escalated yesterday between Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and President Trump over threats to send the National Guard to Chicago to crack down on crime.
It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is un-American.
Chicago's a disaster. We may wait. We may or may not. We may just go in and do it.
Armed National Guard troops now patrol Washington, D.C. Monday, the president signed an executive order to create special National Guard units to deal with what he called public order issues. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yesterday, President Trump also signed executive orders pushing Washington, D.C. and other localities to do away with a cashless bail and directing the Justice Department to investigate flag burning. A 1989 Supreme Court ruling said the First Amendment protected flag burning as symbolic speech. The president has also hinted that he wants to change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Well, still to come, Margot Robbie makes her return to the big screen after Barbie's massive success. Plus, Chris takes another look at your Tuesday forecast. Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell are teaming up in a thought-provoking new drama, and a popular TV show, Doctor, is trading the ER for the Italian coast. Nick Zajovic has your eye on entertainment.
Why are you single?
I suppose I haven't met the right one yet.
Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie star in a big, bold, beautiful journey. A story about fate, memory, and second chances, where their characters get to relive important moments from their past. For Robbie, it marks an unexpected return to the screen after the whirlwind of Barbie.
I had said after Barbie, went so big and went so wide across the globe, I was making a conscious choice to not jump straight into another job. I just thought everyone's probably seen enough of me for the minute. But this was the first script I read and said, God, I've got to be a part of that.
A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey hits theaters September 19th.
Ow! Whew! Good thing those spikes retracted at the last second as far as I know.
The Futurama crew is back again. Fry, Leela, Bender, and the gang return as the sharpest sci-fi comedy on TV rockets into season 13. And in some good news for bingers, all 10 episodes of the new season will launch together September 15th on Hulu.
I am at a bit of a personal and professional crossroads, if I'm being honest.
From the hospital to the Amalfi Coast, Grey's Anatomy alum Jesse Williams is stepping into action in Prime Video's new series, Hotel Costiera. Williams plays Daniel DeLuca, a half-Italian former U.S. Marine turned fixer at a luxury hotel on the cliffs of Positano. But beyond catering to wealthy guests, he's on a personal mission, tracking down the missing daughter of the hotel's owner. Hotel Costiera premieres September 24th on Prime Video. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Nick Zechevich, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty chilly start to the day out there, again for August standards. However, we will warm up later this afternoon, and then we have our increasing rain chances as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Details on all of that when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:17. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:19 now on this Tuesday morning. Starting with the fog tracker because our temperatures dropped a bit. Did get some rain out there, and we do have some fog as a result this morning, mainly to our northern counties. So Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, really the 54 corridor and just immediately surrounding that. So do be cautious. Again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. And of course, also remember, you can run into changing visibility conditions as well. We're only giving you certain points along this route. There could be areas where the fog's a little denser, so just drive slow and be cautious as you head out this morning. Once we get past the fog, though, our Tuesday looks fantastic. We've got temperatures a bit warmer, not too hot, not too cold, kind of like the porridge and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You got to find the one that's just right. Today is the one that is just right. Few clouds. We're going partly cloudy this afternoon. It's a great day, not bad at all. However, things do begin to change as we roll into Wednesday. Yesterday, we showed you the future track that's kind of the shorter version that only goes a couple of days out, and it didn't show rain on Wednesday until like way late, 11 o'clock at night or so. Then we showed you the longer future track that showed rain as early as noon. Well, now they're both kind of jiving with that scenario. Maybe a couple isolated showers ahead of that, and then by noon into our far southwestern counties, we're starting to look at the opportunity for some showers, eventually some scattered thunderstorms that'll gradually begin to increase in coverage as we head through the day on our Thursdays. So by 3 to 5 o'clock, we start to see all of this begin to, again, increase in coverage. A reminder, we're not expecting any kind of severe weather. And when we advance the future track into Thursday morning, it's one of those things where if this was springtime, what we'd be looking at would be a little bit scary. But we're not looking at severe weather. The concern we have is you see all these reds and oranges out here. That's a lot of heavy rain. So again, right now in our area, don't have any flood watches, but it is something that is still being monitored because we are still looking at, for a good portion of our Thursday, especially, let's say, south of the 160 corridor, we're looking at very heavy rainfall with scattered showers and storms through a good portion of Thursday. It won't be until the afternoon and evening that rain begins to wind down for us, and as we go late evening Thursday, we'll begin to clear out and begin to dry out. So it's something we want to watch very closely with that heavy rain. For today, though, again, a great day. Partly cloudy skies, near 60 to start, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs about 80, so some upper 70s, maybe some low 80s, and an east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll go partly cloudy through the evening and overnight as well, back down to the mid-60s by 10, upper 50s, some low 60s tonight. Winds beginning to turn, though. out of the southeast at 5 to 10. And as we head into tomorrow, they'll begin to come up out of the south at about 5 to 10. We'll get those thunderstorm chances again at p.m. So we're talking, noon, 1 o'clock or later. Upper 70s tomorrow. Then we fall back below normal for Thursday. Well, actually, we're going to stay below normal. We should be about 89 as our average high. And that's not on here for a while. Still have those isolated thunderstorm chances and pop-up storm chances for the holiday weekend. So like I mentioned yesterday, don't cancel your plans. Just keep that in mind. Otherwise, next week we do turn around. We start heating up, slightly more seasonable temperatures going back into the upper 80s and low 90s. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, some cannabis products could raise the risk of serious mental health disorders. A University of Colorado study found that products with a high concentration of THC, which means 10% or more THC per serving, are linked to psychosis, schizophrenia, and cannabis use disorder. But the researchers say more study is needed. And scientists say they've identified a possible early warning sign of cognitive decline. A study published by the Society for Neuroscience found that as people age, some misread emotions and others as positive, even when their emotions are neutral or negative. This positive emotion bias is associated with changes in the brain linked to cognitive decline and neurodegeneration. Well, more evidence that the Mediterranean diet is good for you. A Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health study found people who follow the diet, which stresses fruits, vegetables, grains, lean protein, and little to no red meat, cut their risk of type 2 diabetes by 31% when combined with exercise and reducing calories. Researchers say millions of diabetes cases could be prevented by combining the Mediterranean diet with exercise. A mandatory paid sick leave will officially end in Missouri on Thursday, putting an end to a voter-approved policy just months after it went into effect. Critics say the move overturns the will of the voters, but as Abigail Klinkerman reports, the Missouri Chamber of Commerce believes it will keep hundreds of businesses from potentially closing their doors.
Over 300 businesses from across the state reached out to us with either a personal testimony of how this would negatively impact them.
Jared Hankinson with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce says House Bill 567 was necessary to save jobs and that the mandate was a huge overstep.
Whether it's a large-scale manufacturer that employs over 2,000 Missourians and pays great wages, or if it's a small business that serves as the backbone of a local community, all of these businesses were looking at potentially closing their doors.
And beginning Thursday, those businesses will have the right to choose.
Businesses being empowered to do what they know is right for them, what they know is right for their employees, I think is the biggest takeaway.
But Kay Park with the League of Women Voters in Missouri says the benefits of mandated paid sick leave outweigh the costs for employers.
The benefits are really enormous, including increased productivity, fewer workplace injuries, reduced spread of illness in the workplace, as well as less turnover.
She cites a study done by the Institute for Women's Policy Research that claims it costs an employer less than 1/3 of 1% of what they pay for payroll.
I think it was really more financial that the people who convinced the legislators to remove the paid sick leave was because they were afraid that it would be abused, which evidence shows that that's not been the case historically.
Now, efforts are already underway to get mandatory paid sick leave on the November ballot in 2026. Now, this time, the initiative seeks to enshrine mandatory paid sick leave in the state constitution so lawmakers cannot repeal it again. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, Cherokee County Commission holds a hearing concerning property taxes. We'll look at the response.
And we've got some partly cloudy skies expected today, a little warmer and some patchy fog this morning. We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Joplin students get a new route into high-demand healthcare careers. KCU's anesthesiologist assistant program combines classroom learning with hospital training.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, August the 26th. And yesterday, not a bad day. We had the clouds. We had some showers. Nothing too crazy, but definitely a lot cooler than what we have been.
Certainly.
Today, a little warmer, but still below normal out there. So not a bad day ahead of us. In fact, today is, a textbook fall or spring day.
Yes,
in this case,
great.
we'll call it a textbook fall day, but man, it is going to be beautiful. Let's start with that live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Things already looking pretty good. I mean, I know it's dark, but I can assure you things look good. It is chilly though. I mean, for August, it's pretty darn cold across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good. We also have some fog that we've got to contend with, and this just updated. So parts of Bourbon and Vernon counties, you can see Fort Scott's visibility has dropped to 0.3 of a mile. That's what I wanted to emphasize about earlier as well. So first off, our fog tracker updates approximately every, I think it's 15 minutes. And so you got to watch out for those rapidly changing visibilities. This can only pull in data so quickly. This is one of those situations where Fort Scott wasn't that bad a minute ago, and now we've got almost zero visibility. Parts of 54 and 69 heading through Vernon and, again, Bourbon counties out there. So slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Just be cautious and be wary of potential visibility changes. However, we've seen improvements. Yates Center, Chanute, Iola have all come back up to reasonable visibilities out there, where we were down to about 4.5 miles of visibility at the last update. Future track into the afternoon, it's pretty bland, pretty clear, not bad. We got partly cloudy skies today, and as I mentioned, temperatures will warm up. We're going to get a little more sunshine today, but we're still going to be 8 to 10 degrees below normal. Our average high this time of year, at least right now, is about 89. Nowhere near that for us today. In fact, our average low is about 68, 69. And you can see we are not near that either. 57 in Joplin right now, sitting at 54 in Pittsburgh. And take a look. These light blue colors were off to our northeast yesterday. They have made their way into our area. We got a string of 51s. Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton. Those are the cooler locations. 51 degrees in August. I think you head a little further south. Miami, Bentonville, a little warmer at 62, but everybody below average. A lot of 50s on this map this morning. So again, not a bad start by any means, though of course that means kids getting on the bus, they might want a light jacket depending on how cool they think it is. Mid 50s, partly cloudy through the day, mid 70s by lunch and recess time, and about 80 when that bus brings them home this afternoon. That's where our highs are headed. Some upper 70s, maybe a few low 80s here and there. We'll be mid 60s by 9, mid 70s by noon, with those highs again upper 70s, low 80s, and an east breeze at 5 to 10. Now through the evening and into tomorrow, winds will begin to shift out of the south progressively. Our temperatures still pretty decent tomorrow, but our rain chances really start to ramp up. We'll go over those details, break down what you need to know for the next couple of days here in just a few more minutes. Elise.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, property taxes are going up in Cherokee County, Kansas. It was standing room only in the Cherokee County Commission room yesterday as the county held a revenue neutral rate hearing. A revenue neutral rate is the mill levy that would yield the same amount of property tax revenue as the year prior. A public hearing is required by the state when a governing body hopes to raise revenues in excess of the neutral rate. Now, the hearing allowed community members to voice their concerns and ask questions about rising taxes and spending, and offers local leaders to explain the county's current needs.
I'm taking the hit by coming forward to you as citizens of what the sheriff's office has been doing behind the scenes. Last year, the sheriff's office was over budget by almost $500,000. We're basically going neutral at where it is. I'm taking the hit from you as citizens to bring us to where we want to be open to you all.
Now, we will have more on this story later on the KOAM Morning News. Well, Kansas City University in Joplin will add a new master's degree program for anesthesiologist assistants. The 28-month program will start in January. The class will have 24 seats for each class. Now, the first year will be 95% coursework on the KCU campus in Joplin with the work in the sim lab. After that, the students will work in the clinical teaching sites of Freeman Health System and Cox Health.
We also require a member of the anesthesia care team to provide the anesthesia for the patients. And so as we continue to grow and develop and have more demand, we have to have the providers to meet that. And right now the anesthesia care team piece is lagging behind the growth on the surgery side.
KCU Med in Joplin has received 400 applications for the program that only has 24 seats. Well, yesterday, Missouri Congressman Mark Alford kicked off a 15-county town hall tour with a stop in Nevada. Inside 54 Cafe, Alford fielded questions on small business support, healthcare, and government spending. He also touched on national politics, telling the crowd he doesn't agree with everything President Trump says. The president has signaled on a Truth Social that Missouri was up next for redistricting after Texas approved a new congressional map.
Staying out of that fight, that is between the president, Governor Kehoe, and the state legislature. We may see some action on that in the coming weeks if there is a special session, but I'll tell you this, no matter where this line is drawn for our district, I will continue to work my butt off for the people I represent, no matter where that line is. If it takes us up into Kansas City, where I used to be a TV anchor there, so be it.
Alford says gatherings like this give him a chance to hear directly from voters and carry their concerns back to Washington. Missouri Southern State University hosted a delegation from Zhejiang University International Studies University in Hangzhou, China over the summer. MSSU students and faculty took part in a study abroad program at Shizhou, learning more about Chinese culture and education. A ceremony was followed by a lunch at the athletic center.
It's just really nice to go abroad and to understand culture in a different way. You know, they have a very long history, so we were able to tour some very old villages and to see some of the old traditional practices that they still keep doing today, and how maybe they prepare food or how musicians make music and different things like that. So to be able to learn more about a different culture is really broadening of our education.
14 students and 2 faculty members made the trip to China. The partnership began in 2023, and the school hopes to appeal to more degree programs in the future. Well, big news for a local nonprofit making a difference in the lives of children. Jasper County CASA just received a $50,000 donation. The gift comes from Wes and Jan Hauser, who first visited the CASA facility nearly a year ago. They say they were so moved by the organization's mission, they decided to give back.
To continue to endow CASA. And with an endowment, CASA will be able to continue for many, many years after we are long gone. And that's the purpose of this donation.
The CASA officials say they're grateful and will continue to provide essential foster care to the community. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Well, your morning coffee and afternoon Dr. Pepper may soon come from different companies. Keurig Dr. Pepper announces plans to divide its business into 2. Plus, Starbucks kicks off its fall campaign today with pumpkin spice lattes and new menu items. Reserve locations at pumpkin cocktails for customers wanting an extra kick. We'll have the latest. Time now, 5:37. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. On Consumer Watch, Dr. Pepper and Keurig are planning a split 7 years after the 2 companies merged. Now, it's expected to come after Keurig Dr. Pepper wraps up its $18 billion acquisition of Peet's coffee owner J.D. Peet. After the split, one company is expected to focus solely on coffee, while the other focuses on other beverages, including Dr. Pepper, 7-Up, and energy drinks. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says it's probing into reports of engine failures involving more than 1 million Honda and Acura vehicles. The agency says it has determined that a 2023 recall involving a crankshaft defect was not the cause of the engine failures, and that investigation was later closed. It says the new probe will, quote, further evaluate the scope and severity of the potential problem and to fully assess the potential safety-related issues. Impacted models include the Honda Odyssey, Pilot, and Ridgeline, and the Acura MDX from 2016 to 2020, and the Acura TLX from 2018 to 2020. And Starbucks' pumpkin spice is back starting today. The fan favorite is part of the chain's lineup of fall products that also include a new tiramisu latte and new food items like Italian sausage egg bites. Now, for those looking for an extra kick in their Joe, Starbucks Reserve locations are serving new pumpkin flavored cocktail. Now, to look at Consumer Watch this morning, let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we are doing pretty good this morning. We are, again, chilly, if not downright cold, for August at least. Temperatures in the 50s this morning. We will be a little warmer later today, a little more sunshine on the horizon for us, and then we've got more rain chances. We're going to break down all the details on that and our weekend forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:42.
Well, why did prices for some vegetables surge last month? We have an update in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. There's been a report of a human case of New World screwworm here in the U.S. Now, it's being investigated by the Maryland Department of Health. It reports it involves a patient who returned from travel to El Salvador. The NWS fly uses larvae to infest the flesh of warm-blooded animals, especially livestock, but occasionally humans. Health officials say the risk to the public in the U.S. is very low. It's worth pointing out this is not the first case of NWS in the U.S., as there have been sporadic cases reported in the past. You may have seen reports that the prices for fresh and dry vegetables surged almost 39% in July, but there's much more to that. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says the main drivers behind the price increase were lettuce, spinach, and broccoli. It says poor weather conditions in selected major growing areas contributed to that increase, but global market researchers at Circana say while food and beverage prices at the store have increased significantly in recent years, it says on average veggies have only gone up about 18 cents per pound. And now your dog can enjoy pizza night too. The folks over at Just for Dogs Dog Food teaming up with Pizzana to create pup pizza. It includes pumpkin, peanut butter, along with potato cubes and pork treats. It will be available at Pizzana locations starting tomorrow. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now here's Chris with the full look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a downright chilly start out there, and we've got some fog to contend with. Now, the latest update here, Fort Scott, you were at about 0.3 of a mile visibility. You've come up to 0.8 of a mile, so still very dense fog, just confined right here, parts of Bourbon and Vernon counties. So 54, 69, slow down, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, of course, and just be aware of rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. As I mentioned before, this fog tracker updates approximately every 15 minutes, okay? So it's not immediate real-time data, and that's why you just want to be cautious out there. Those visibilities can change quickly, which we did see earlier where Fort Scott was at like 5 miles of visibility to start and then dropped to 0.3 of a mile. So just be cautious as you're heading out this morning. Our future track for today, not a lot to discuss, which is fine. It's going to be a fantastic fall day, even though we're not quite in fall. It is more like late September than late August. We'll have partly cloudy skies, temperatures warmer today because we're going to get more sunshine, but still below normal across the area. Then as we go into Wednesday, things begin to change. We discussed it earlier, but you recall yesterday, if you were with us yesterday morning, on the future track, the short range one that we use here, that only goes a couple of days out, didn't show rain on Wednesday until like 11 o'clock at night. But then the longer range one showed rain maybe as early as noon. And we split the difference, saying maybe 4 or 5 o'clock Wednesday. Well, now the short range one is in agreement with the longer range one for Wednesday. So we could get some stray sprinkles in the morning, but by about noon, we start to see some isolated showers beginning to build into our western counties, and they'll gradually increase in coverage through the day into the evening and overnight hours on our Wednesday, bringing some showers, some thunderstorms. No severe weather is expected. So, and I want to emphasize that because a lot of times on future track, those reds, those oranges are also associated with stronger, thunderstorms. In this case, that's not going to be what we expect on Thursday. These reds, yellows, and oranges out here, these are really thunderstorms with just very heavy rain. As I mentioned, we don't have any flooded watches out in our area at this time. If it changes, of course, we'll let you know. But we're talking a lot of heavy rain starting early Thursday, maybe even as early as 3 a.m. Better chances for that heavy rain are, say, the 160 corridor points south But still, very heavy rainfall expected through the first half of our Thursday, and it will continue with showers and thunderstorms. And again, still no severe weather expected, but that heavy rain could lead to some problems, and it won't begin ramping up until later in the evening on our Thursday, and then we'll begin to slowly clear out and dry out as we go overnight Thursday into our Friday. Starting our day here, up near 60 by 8, low 70s by 11 a.m. Partly cloudy skies. That's what we'll have into the afternoon. Highs about 80, so some upper 70s, some low 80s. Not a bad day still. We should be about 89 this time of year. We're going to be 8 to 10 degrees below that. East winds 5 to 10. Still partly cloudy through the evening, back down to the mid 60s by 10, and below average tonight again, upper 50s. Not again that anybody's complaining. I haven't heard any complaints about the nice weather. In fact, I heard a lot of folks very happy about the temperatures we had yesterday. We'll have that southeast wind, southeast at 5 to 10 as the winds gradually shift out of the south. South 5 to 10 for our Wednesday. Still warm because at least to start the day, most of us will be dry. We're looking at highs upper 70s, maybe some low 80s. And then we'll see those thunderstorm chances gradually increase and continue through Thursday. We still have isolated storm chances Friday into the holiday weekend here, so don't cancel your plans just because look at those chances. They're a little low, but they're there. Just make sure you got a dry spot just in case. Labor Day looks great, low 80s out there, and then we'll start to warm up a little more seasonably warm as we head to the second half of next week. That's checking your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the NFL preseason has come to a close with the regular season right around the corner. But before the Chiefs take the field for week 1 in Sao Paulo, Brazil against the Chargers, KC fans can pass the time with a new series. ESPN recently released a 6-part series about the Chiefs and last season's quest for a Super Bowl three-peat. KOAM Sports sat down with the voice of Chiefs Mitch Holthus to talk about the experience and what fans can expect when they watch.
It's kind of a Hard Knocks feel to it. It's the same production crew that did Michael Jordan's Last Dance. And so the quality is amazing and their creativity. And so what I love about the series is that it delves into stories that have not been done in long form. Coach Reed, how amazing he is, and that goes way beyond play calling and wins, and just the human being that he is. Same with Pat and Brittany, and the same with Kels and Taylor. But Chris Jones, we get into that, the incredible heart-rendering story of DeAndre Hopkins and his mom. I mean, there's just so many storylines to this team and to last season, and they did a phenomenal job with it.
Now for Holthus and the media, they had the opportunity to form personal relationships with the players and coaches throughout the season. But Holthus says that his favorite part of the series is that the fans and viewers get to see these stars off the field and as people, not just as athletes.
People are seeing it now, what I've seen for 13 years with Kels and 8 years with Pat and 13 years with Coach and 10 years with Chris, is that just what they are, the depth of their character. And it's one of the reasons I say we win for 100 reasons, but that's a huge part of it.
Well, it's the start of a new chapter in Grove Ridge Runner football with a lot of fresh faces taking leadership roles this season. Head coach Ryan Keenum takes over as the lead man after Ron Colwell announced his retirement following the 2024 season. The former high school Broilers Award winner understands the Ridge Runner football history and traditions growing up in nearby Concord. As Keenum enters his first season with Grove, he's focused on continuing the legacy of the program while adding his style to the mix.
Very blessed and fortunate to follow a great head coach in Ron Colwell. He's been great throughout the transition, has been very helpful to me. So I'm just trying to build on a lot of things that he did, but then also make it my own. You've got to tell coaches all the time when they get into this business, you've got to be who you are. You can't try to be something you're not. I think the kids know that I'm going to demand a lot from them, but I'm also going to love on them. All right, tell them when they do well and try to help them get better, and that's just something I want them to know. We're always going to be a family. We're always going to have each other's backs, and that's how we're going to play on the field.
It's great to have a coach like him. He loves the community and loves us. He'd do anything for us, and it's just great.
That's a look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, Harry Styles and Zoe Kravitz were spotted walking arm in arm through the streets of Rome, sparking buzz online about a possible romance. Video shows the two strolling past a church in the city's historic center on August 24th. The sighting quickly went viral, fueling speculation among fans. At least 3 people were injured after a massive explosion rocked a neighborhood north of St. Louis on Monday morning. The blast caused widespread damage, igniting fires that destroyed multiple homes on Evan Air Drive. Authorities say the cause is still under investigation.
I remember seeing that yesterday. Some of the reports from the affiliates in St. Louis, just incredible that nobody was killed, and those people were saying the same thing, considering the scope of that explosion. Down here in our area, we are going to have an absolutely perfect day across the region. We've got near 60 by 8, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. We'll have partly cloudy skies out there, so a nice start. Got some patchy fog, though, up in our northern counties, so do keep that in mind this morning. Highs today, right about 80, so some upper 70s, some low 80s. Nothing too crazy, still 8 to 10 degrees below average with an east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening, still partly cloudy, mid-60s by 10, and again, below normal tonight, upper 50s, maybe some low 60s out there. And take a look, sunrise, see, keep losing a couple of minutes every day as we head closer to fall. And winds now southeast at 5 to 10. They're beginning to turn out of the south, which will bring in that moisture for our storm chances over the next couple of days. So still near 80 tomorrow, below normal, not bad. But then, say noon and beyond, we'll see gradually increasing shower and thunderstorm chances. No severe weather is expected with any of this activity here. But as we go into Thursday, especially Thursday early morning, maybe as early as 2-3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have thunderstorms, and they could be producing very heavy rainfall. So again, we don't have a flood watch across our area, but some localized flash flooding is not out of the question, especially with some of those storms producing heavier rain. It does keep us cool again, back in the low 70s. We got a few pop-up storm chances as we roll into the holiday weekend. So again, don't cancel your plans. Just have a backup plan, somewhere dry to go just in case. Next week, though, we start heating back up, getting a little closer to average. Let's check your forecast. Got another hour of the KOAM Morning News up next.